We didn't want to have to do that. We didn't want to have to ask for handouts, but at this point, we need some freaking help.
There's a lot to it, and I wish I was able to be able to muster up words to be able to say everything that be going on in my head, but a lot of time I can't. And the stuff that
Resilient Jenkins finally did it, y'all. They finally did it. They made a GFM, and allegedly it's for legal fees and for their children. Now, just my opinion, but what I find crazy about this is making a GFM, but y'all are monetized in many shape, ways, and forms on here and other apps. Y'all refuse to work. They denied Deshaun getting time to spend with his mother. And the legal fees part just doesn't quite make sense to me because they're the ones that are constantly going against the court orders. I think that they were really impressed with Desiree's GFM, that they want that too. I mean, Desiree had got up to almost like $13,000, I think. I could be wrong, but it was definitely over 10K, and I'm sure that's what they're shooting for.
Oh babe, sit all the way down and pour yourself the biggest glass of tea, because what's going down between Stephanie Jenkins, her husband Drew, and his son Deshaun is not your average messy family drama. This is next-level chaos, the kind that starts with a GoFundMe and ends with a full-blown public spectacle, and it's all playing out like a low-budget soap opera with no commercial breaks. So let's break this mess down, because the plot twists. Insane. Stephanie Jenkins, or Resilient Jenkins, depending on which version of her personality you're catching online, just launched a GoFundMe campaign. She's asking for $3,500, claiming it's for league fees tied to a custody battle over Deshaun. But don't let the innocent phrasing fool you. This isn't some warm-hearted, we're just trying our best plea. This thing reeks of competition, pettiness, and strategic shade. Why? Because it didn't come from nowhere, it came directly after Deshaun's biological mom, Desiree, launched her own fundraiser. Desiree's GoFundMe? It was raw. Real. A desperate mom trying to fight back after being shut out of her child's life for 3 years, even when court orders allowed visitation. The public saw her pain and rallied. The woman raised over $14,000 in support. And then? Boom. Here comes Stephanie, stomping onto the scene with her own fundraiser like this was some sort of social media showdown. But here's the kicker, babe, Stephanie is not Deshaun's mom. She's not even his stepmom. No legal guardianship. No parental rights. Not a single court-recognized role. She's just Drew's girlfriend, the girlfriend of the dad. That's it. And yet, somehow, she's taken it upon herself to become the face, voice, and leader of an entire custody campaign. Drew, the actual father, is basically silent in all of this, like a background extra in a movie about his own kid. And that's where everyone's eyebrows shot way up. Because what is Stephanie really doing? Why is she suddenly acting like she's Deshaun's protector, provider, and mother figure all rolled into one when legally, and let's be real, emotionally, she's none of those things? The entitlement is audible. It's like she's trying to rewrite the script and cast herself in the starring role, even if it means erasing the actual mother from the narrative completely. The GoFundMe message itself? Girl, the manipulation is thick. It starts with a soft, "We hesitated starting this because of the hate we've received," like, cue the violins. She tries to paint herself as this selfless warrior who didn't want to ask for money but was just so overwhelmed by people offering to help. The way she flips from, "we didn't want to beg," to "okay, but give us money," is Oscar-worthy. And then, the line that truly gave the game away, "We can raise these funds to just as much legal assistance as the other party." Babe, the other party? You mean Desiree? The child's mother? That sentence right there wasn't about Deshaun. That wasn't about safety, or legal clarity, or even justice. That was a shot across the bow. That was Stephanie saying, if she can raise money, so can I. It turned the whole situation from a family custody matter into a catty cash competition. Who can get more sympathy? Who can win over the public? Who can be the internet's favorite mom figure, even if they're not one?
The Razzie and Jenkins now officially have a GFM up and running. They have put in the description that it's to secure legal assistance and better their children's lives. Stephanie wrote in the bio that they were really hesitant about even starting this GFM, but they feel like they are just as deserving of legal support on their side as Desiree is on hers. They said that they want to maintain the safety and placement of a kiddo who is perfectly happy with his family. And please be assured that every single penny that is received, they will provide a receipt for. Stephanie went on to say in her FB post that it was humbling to even make this GFM. She said that they wanted to make one while they were in the apartment, but they knew that they had to get back up on their feet by themselves, and it just isn't feasible. She said Drew's going back to work, and she makes just as much at home as a content creator as she would at work, which is probably true. However, if they had both been working from the very get-go, they probably wouldn't be in this situation. I did see on their live today that Drew said that he didn't work because of a mental health break. It was some heart conditions and a seizure, and then it was because he didn't want to, because he didn't like people telling him what to do, and then his autism, and now it's his mental health. Y'all, I just don't even know what to say at this point. I really don't even know what to say anymore.
And get this, Stephanie doesn't even bother to explain what the money's for. No legal firm names. No court dates. No invoices or documentation, just vibes and shade. She doesn't outline any real plan. She just wants to match Desiree's success. If that doesn't scream ego trip, I don't know what does. And behind the scenes? It gets pettier. Screenshots have allegedly surfaced showing Stephanie complaining in text messages that Desiree once sent a $25 gift card. Like, girl, what does that even have to do with fighting for a child? It's giving bitter ex who wants the last word, not bonus mom who wants peace. And let's not forget how this all started. Desiree launched her fundraiser not for clout, but because she was blocked from her own son for 3 long years. She wasn't posting selfies or trying to build a brand. She was begging for legal support to get her child back. And the public saw that. They understood. That's why she raised real money. But instead of responding with support, compassion, or even just silence, Stephanie came swinging. She couldn't let Desiree have that moment. She needed one of her own. So now, here we are. 2 fundraisers. 1 child. A social media battlefield. A woman with no legal rights charging forward like she's leading the revolution, while the real mother, the one with everything to lose, gets shoved further and further out of frame. She didn't just stop at creating a competing fundraiser. No, babe, she had to go full scorched earth. Stephanie started questioning how Desiree was spending the money from her GoFundMe. As if that fundraiser had been for Target runs and toy hauls, not legal fees to get her child back after years of being shut out. But that little jab? That told us everything. Stephanie isn't just bothered by the money, she's bitter about the attention. The support. The fact that Desiree, without even trying to be flashy, managed to rally a whole community around her. And instead of recognizing that as the act of a desperate mother, Stephanie saw it as a threat. A challenge. An ego blow she just couldn't let slide. So now she's asking us, the public, for $3,500. But here's where it gets even slimier. The fundraiser is vague as hell. It's described as being for legal assistance and to benefit the children, but there's no breakdown. No receipts. No mention of specific legal costs, attorney names, or court dates. Just a wide open call for cash, and if you know the history here, that's more than a little suspicious. Because let's not forget, Stephanie and Drew are already bringing in money from social media. Stephanie's got subscribers. She's doing lives, rants, Q&As. People are sending her digital gifts and pouring into her comment sections. That money should be going toward their kids, right? But instead, it's gone to new Apple Watches, fancy kitchen toys, and Drew's gaming setup. So now she expects us to believe that this sudden $3,500 request is all about legal fees and child welfare? Please. And the hypocrisy doesn't end there. Stephanie has been repeatedly violating court orders by airing out the case online. Yes, a judge specifically instructed her not to speak publicly about Deshaun or Desiree. This wasn't some casual warning, it was a court order, intended to protect Deshaun's privacy and mental health. But Stephanie? She doesn't care. Not even a little. She's gone live, posted videos, spilled tea in comments, dragged Desiree by name, and invited her followers into every corner of the custody case. Each time, she throws gasoline on the fire, paints herself as the victim, and spins Desiree as some fame-hungry villain. She's accused Desiree of being a clout chaser, of using her son for sympathy, of abandoning him, all while she's the one exploiting the situation for attention. And here's the gag, in between all that mess, Stephanie still had the nerve to send Desiree a message suggesting they co-parent, and that Deshawn should call them both. Both? Girl, what? That message alone shows just how far detached Stephanie is from reality. She's not trying to co-parent, she's trying to replace. This isn't support. This is domination. She wants to rewrite Deshawn's story, insert herself into the role of a mom, and erase Desiree entirely. It's not just overstepping, it's psychological warfare, masked as maternal concern. And the saddest part? She does it all so casually. Like none of it matters. Like breaking court orders is just another Tuesday. Like Deshawn's emotional well-being is just another bullet point on her live stream agenda. As long as Stephanie gets to control the narrative, the rest can burn. But here's where it takes a truly jaw-dropping turn. Drew, the actual father, doesn't even want custody. No, really. On a live stream, his own words, he said he'd give Deshawn back if it weren't for Stephanie. Let that sink in. This entire fight? This whole custody battle? The court motions, the GoFundMes, the endless online rants? It's not even Drew's fight. He's just coasting behind Stephanie's rage-fueled campaign, letting her speak for both of them, letting her drag his son's life through the mud. So if the father himself is only involved because his girlfriend is pushing it, what are we really witnessing? This doesn't look like two parents fighting to protect a child. It looks like a woman on a power trip, dragging her passive partner along for the ride. It looks like a toxic performance, one fueled by competition, jealousy, and a desperate need to win at all costs. And what about Deshawn? Stephanie claims he's happy, that he's doing great with his current family setup. But happiness in kids is complicated. Sometimes what we think is happiness is really just survival. Kids don't always know what healthy looks like, they just adapt to the dysfunction they're handed. And Deshawn? He's never even been given the chance to live in a stable home. One with clean clothes. Consistent meals. A quiet room. A mother who's been fighting tooth and nail just to hold him again. Instead, he's been shuffled through unstable housing, stuffed into cramped motels, paraded across live streams, and denied the right to build a relationship with his real mother.
I think that for her to sit there and say that, oh, like Deshawn is happy in the home and, to secure, legal help to keep him in our home and to keep him with us. Drew literally stated when he was on live with you that if you two weren't together, he wouldn't fight for Deshawn. So this GoFundMe simply is like, it's because of you, Stephanie. It's not because of Drew. She stated, we need our supporters more now than ever to help us ensure we can maintain the safety and placement of a kiddo who is and was perfectly happy with his family. He might be happy with you guys right now, just because you guys have filled his head with lies and have alienated him from his mother. That being said, Deshawn has, he needs his mom. It's very simple, actually. Drew has explicitly ignored court orders since the last court date. What part of that are you not seeing and not understanding? Deshawn could have been seeing his mom. You have ignored court orders. Drew has ignored court orders. That's not very appropriate for you guys. I know that Stephanie has a lot of supporters. I'm glad. That's great. But please don't donate to this GoFundMe. I'm reporting it. I have reported it. I'm going to report it again. I know a lot of people are reporting it. Please don't donate to this. If you donate to it, then congratulations to you. But the fact of the matter is that if they wanted an attorney and they wanted help and they wanted to do things correctly, they would have been doing this from the start when Drew and Desiree went to court the first time. Please be assured that funds we receive will be used solely to help us secure legal assistance and benefit our children. Any funds we use, we will share legitimate receipts and keep records with our followers. Yeah, attorneys aren't cheap stuff. $3,500 probably won't get you guys very far, so I think that's just kind of a reach. Congrats to you, though. Yeah, after I saw your Facebook comment or your post earlier that you had made, and then you deleted it, or I think it was deleted, I'm pretty sure. I can't find it now, but we all kind of knew that this was coming, and yeah, this isn't Just let Deshaun go see his mom. Stop ignoring court orders and then begging for help for an attorney. You wouldn't have to worry about it if you didn't ignore him.
And still, they say he's happy. But what does that really mean? That he doesn't cry? That he doesn't complain? Or that he just doesn't know anything else? Kids are resilient, sure. But resilience isn't peace. It's just what they use to survive chaos. They learn to normalize instability. To accept the screaming, the back and forth, the drama, because no one's ever given them anything different. Desiree is offering Deshaun something real, a stable home, his own bed, clothes that actually fit, toys that don't have to be shared with strangers, and most importantly, peace. Stephanie is out here doing everything in her power to block that from happening. Not out of love. Not out of genuine concern. But out of ego. She's not fighting for Deshaun's well-being. She's fighting to win. This has become less about a child's future and more about Stephanie's obsession with proving a point to Desiree, to the public, and maybe even to herself. And the excuses? Oh babe, they just keep evolving like a Pokemon with a god complex. Every time people start to ask questions, like, why isn't Drew working? A brand new health condition magically appears. Suddenly it's seizures, heart problems, diabetes, mental illness, autism, the list just keeps growing. Conveniently. Selectively. Timed perfectly with the backlash. But here's the catch, the same Drew who's supposedly too sick to work is on live streams almost daily. He's laughing, gaming, chatting with followers for hours like he's hosting a Twitch marathon. He's animated, lively, fully engaged. And people are watching this man function at full capacity online, and then being told he's completely incapable of even a part-time, flexible, work-from-home gig? Babe, the math is not mathing. It's not that the public lacks empathy, it's that the contradictions are screaming louder than Stephanie's live stream mic. And yet Stephanie keeps pushing the same tired narrative. No accountability. No explanation. Just more sob stories layered over contradictions. She plays the same broken record, how hard life is, how much help they need, how Drew can't do more, but never once addresses the obvious disconnect between what's being said and what's being seen. And people aren't stupid. They're tired. Tired of being manipulated. Tired of being emotionally guilt-tripped into handing over cash while watching the same people spend it on Apple Watches, ring lights, and gaming chairs. Let's not forget, Stephanie and Drew have openly admitted they don't want to work. On live stream. Their words. They said it clearly, working traditional jobs isn't something they're willing to do. So now, all of a sudden, they're throwing Deshaun's name into the ring, using a child at the center of a custody war as the emotional bait for their latest GoFundMe. But let's be honest, this isn't about Deshaun, this is about them. Stephanie has publicly stated they're over $2,000 behind on car payments. She's hinted, not once, but multiple times, that they need help securing housing. And yet, they continue to spend on non-essentials. On live stream tech. On things that make their life easier or more fun, not Deshaun's. None of that money, not a single dime, has been clearly linked to custody-related expenses. No legal retainer. No receipts for child-specific care. No concrete evidence that any of it is making Deshaun's life better. What it does reflect is a pattern, using emotional manipulation and crisis branding to support a lifestyle not backed by work, but by sympathy. Stephanie and Drew aren't asking for help because they've exhausted every effort. They're asking because they haven't tried, and because asking the internet has always been easier than showing up in real life. They want the public to foot the bill for their decisions while dressing it up in Deshaun's name, like he's the cause and not the excuse. But if you really sit with the timeline and trace every dollar they've ever asked for, you'll see the same pattern. Everything circles back to their comfort. Their needs. Their survival. Not his. And now they're dangling the word of transparency like it's a get-out-of-jail-free card. Stephanie says this time will be different. That this time, she'll show receipts. That she'll be open and accountable. But how many times have we heard that before? Let's not pretend this is her first fundraiser. It's not. And every single time, it's the same routine, emotional appeal, quick surge of donations, followed by radio silence when people ask where the money went. There's never been itemized breakdowns, no screenshots, no legal expense reports with names and dates. Just vague updates and defensive rants. Supporters are left to guess, and those guesses? They're not flattering. So when Stephanie says, "Trust me, this time it's different," the public has every right to raise an eyebrow and say, "Why should we believe you now?" And the pressure's on. Because that court date? It's creeping up fast. So far, she's only managed to raise a little over $100 out of the $3,500 goal. The question now is, will she actually raise the rest? And if she does, where will it go? To legal fees? Or into Drew's next gaming setup and another trip to Walmart's electronics aisle? Because babe, we're watching. And guess what? So is the court. What started as a custody battle has mutated into a circus. An emotionally charged, ego-driven, performative disaster, one where Deshawn has become a background prop in a show meant to spotlight Stephanie's self-image and Drew's convenience. It's spiraling. And the one person who should be protected, the child, keeps getting pushed further and further into the shadows. This isn't about parenting. This is about pride. And the question everyone's asking now is, should Stephanie and Drew even be trusted with more money? Or more importantly, with Deshawn? Because one thing's clear, this isn't over. Not even close. And that's the latest in this jaw-dropping custody saga, babe. The drama's only getting deeper, and the truth? It's slipping through the cracks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, who's really fighting for Deshawn? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications, because we'll be watching every twist as it unfolds. Stay tuned.